Welcome everybody back to the NerdFellas show. Thank you guys for joining us today. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without you guys. Now, today is a very special day. I got to interview, and oh my god, like I am stoked about who I got to interview. I got to interview the one and only Boyd Holbrook. Now, if you don't know who Boyd Holbrook is, you should. He plays Steve Murphy in the show Narcos, which is like the main DEA agent, and he also plays the leader of the Reavers in Logan. Now he's the main antagonist in Logan, I would say. And now he's gonna be in the new film The Predator, coming out this weekend. And I got to sit down. Well, no, I didn't get to sit down and talk to him. I mean, I got to talk to him over the phone for a couple of minutes. We did have some technical difficulties before. We had like some drop calls, and so that happens, I guess. Like it sucked, but I finally got to get a hold of him, and we got to talk for a little bit. So without further ado, I just wanted to bring you guys the interview.
Okay.
Third time's a charm, right, Boyd?
That's what they say, bud.
So okay, I'm sorry about that, man.
That's all good.
Could you tell me a little bit about the role that I guess for me and brought a lot of people attention to to you is I would say is Narcos, because it's such an intense role. I mean, how did you prepare for that, and like how was it filming on location?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so fortunate and proud that I could be part of such a great series of Narcos. Steve Murphy and Javier Pena are still alive and well. I immediately, once I found out I was going to be working on Narcos, I called Steve Murphy, and I had an idea. I said, what's the chances of me and Pedro coming down to Quantico and training with the DEA? And he said, probably slim, but let me see what I can do. And Steve's kind of a legend in the DEA, and he pulled some strings and got us to train there for I think it was a week. And for me, that anything like that goes a real long way. Having some sort of shared experience of the characters that I play, I always love to do that.
Oh yeah, of course. That's awesome. And being on location though, that was that surreal for you?
It was trying. Yeah, I mean, Colombia is a gorgeous, beautiful country. Yeah, I was definitely out of my comfort zone. I was definitely, in an environment that was really foreign to me. But aside from all the personal stuff, it is very good for work. We were on a lot of locations. We were, on the ground that Pablo walked on and Steve Murphy walked on. So
Oh yeah.
that all just really makes a more authentic piece.
Oh no, yeah. And the thing about that is I just binged through that whole series. That's such a great series. And in there I love the fact that it allowed you to really hone your craft in the acting, and it's very compelling, because the next thing I saw you in was in Logan. And
Hmm.
and man, I just going from being a DEA agent to being the main antagonist in a Logan film, and working with James Mangold and Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart. How was that? Like that must have been quite an experience.
Yeah, well, I think all the, it is, I'll say this, I think it's very rare that an actor goes to work every day, or even working, 9 months out of the year. That's still quite a lot, just because the job is so demanding. But it's also, in that time of my career going to work on Narcos for 8 months per season. It really hones in the 10,000 hours that you need to do to become trying to master any craft that you're doing. So that really prepared me a lot, and I just had really great material to work off on for Logan. I do the preparation still with my acting coach that I studied with at drama school, a guy named Terry Knickerbocker, and we prep everything together. We just get together and we start putting ideas together and trying to make sense of stuff. And then when you're working with someone as talented as James Mangold, who's a phenomenal director, to make your performance better, and then working off someone like Patrick Stewart or Hugh Jackman, then that's when the job doesn't get any better. Everyone's excellent at what they do. They're all craftsmen. So I wish I could take more responsibility for it, but I had a lot of things that were working in my favor.
No, of course, and to me, I think Logan really transcends the genre. It To me, it just reminded me of a really gritty Western film, and I kind of love that. And I was kind of curious about, how do you feel about comic book genres, or the comic book genre in general?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Logan really just showed the whole world that it's not all just superheroes and everything. It's really down to earth. I mean, in the fantastical way, but very down to earth, gritty stories that just, that they just, it's more than, I feel like it's more than just a comic book movie, as some would say.
Yeah. Well, I think it comes down to the interpretation of the material, and I think James and Hugh really fought hard to make the type of film that they wanted to make, and I'm happy that we were able to do that, because as you're saying, it did show there's not one way to do this. There's multiple possibilities. I'm big. I'm a fan of comics. Certain types, obviously, I know of, and certain ones I'm not as familiar with. And I think those worlds are pretty great. I mean, to be able to play someone like Batman,
Oh yeah.
that would be incredible. Or what Joaquin's about to do with the Joker.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And in fact,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's something I heard of, and I mean, all these things there's different ways to interpret them. So it just depends on how and who wants to do it. Yeah.
Well, so we know that you've already played a villain. Would you ever want to play a hero? Like, to me, like, I think you'd be like a perfect Green Arrow. You kind of like the other Batman, other than Batman, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. I think in Predator, I was able to play a bit of a hero there. Yeah. So with Quinn McKenna, he's the Predator franchise has evolved. This is not just a reboot. This is a reinvention of it and a continuation of the story. So now we're seeing a sort of contract soldier who's gun for hire, basically, and what that does to someone's life. It estranges you from your wife and child, and you'll find out that he's got some unresolved issues with his family that throughout the course of the movie he tries to figure out. So I would say Quinn's a sort of hero with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
As he navigates the world.
And that's the other question, is filling. You're basically filling the shoes of people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse the Body Ventura, Danny Glover, Adrian Brody, in The Predator. I mean, that to me, I used to love watching The Predator. I still watch it to this day.
Yeah.
How was it just being in that environment?
Well, yeah. Obviously, if you want to look at it as if it's big shoes to fill, that's definitely an option. But I wanted to work with Shane Black and the rest of this cast. Talented actors like Olivia Munn and Keegan Michael Key and Augusto Aguilera, Trevante Rhodes, Thomas Jane, that type. I mean, I feel like we're all definitely going a bit deeper into the character work as this whole thing came full circle. Shane Hawks was the first guy to die in the original, and we wouldn't be here without the original. So I felt like I was in good hands with Shane Black at the helm of this, because he's had 30 odd years of making iconic films to come back and revisit this classic that people keep wanting to see. It's like it's what plays keep be remade over and over again.
Boyd, just thank you so much for joining us today. I'd just like to thank you for your time.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the movie. It's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun, and I think you'll get some laughs in there.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And that was that, guys. I mean, to be honest, the guy was super nice and super awesome. He is very insightful. Hopefully we get to talk to him again in the future when he's a big star. Right now his stock is rising, so look out for him in The Predator. So yeah, I mean, that was great. We of course here at NerdFellas want to thank everybody, all the fans that listen in on the show and contribute to our conversations in like nerdy culture, and we just appreciate you guys, and without you guys we wouldn't be able to have opportunities like this. So yeah, big thank you to you guys. And once again, I just wanted to say, man, like, I know we haven't done a lot of shows in a while, but that's all about to change. Like, we've all just gotten so busy with our job, like our regular jobs, which sucks. But I definitely want to reiterate that we are going to be doing a lot more shows, and building a new set. The reason is that it's because I'm moving to a house, and so now it's gonna be an amazing experience. Like, it's gonna be cool. Like, I'm gonna have you're gonna see everything, and so you're gonna be able to see. We're gonna do a lot more video stuff again, and of course, we're gonna be doing more reviews and more podcasts. And of course, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Sean Ashando, man, like the guy. So he came to me a couple of months ago. He said, "Hey, dude, I want to start a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, of course. But how do you do it?" And so, like, I kind of gave him a couple of tips. So, like, I wasn't like the best person to give advice, but he did come to me, and I really appreciated that. And now he's kicking ass. Like, every single week he's putting out a podcast called the 86 Podcast. It's a bunch of cooks and from Austin, and they just they shoot the shit, man. Like, it's like 6 of them at a time, and it makes for a really really entertaining podcast. It's just very very awesome. So check that out if you guys have a chance. And of course, hit up his food truck, man. Like, just look him up. Look up the 86 Podcast. It's really fun. And of course, I wanted to give a shout out to Lorenzo, my boy Lorenzo. I saw him the other day. He's one of the biggest contributors to our channel, and he just he's always supportive and everything. And there's a lot of other people that are the same, but this guy's been there since the beginning, so I just wanted to give him a shout out right there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and allowing us to be a part of y'all's lives. And of course, we couldn't do it without you guys. All right, guys. So that's it for me. My name's Martin. Nerd out.